Today, I'm testing the much-loved Viltrox 85mm f1.8 against another Viltrox 85mm 1.8. Hang on a second, they're not the same lens. Or are they? Now, it's been suspected online for a while now that the Tokina 85mm f1.8 is actually just a rebranded clone of the original Viltrox 85mm f1.8 design. Now, the reason for this theory is that both lenses appear to be identical in a number of ways. They both have the same lens construction, as you can see from these two beautiful charts right here, and they also match up on a number of other key specs too. Both lenses are pretty much identical in terms of size and design, and they also share an all-metal build. Okay, granted, the Tokina is a shade heavier than the Viltrox, but really not by a huge amount. In terms of their design, both lenses are pretty void of features, so other than a manual focus ring, there really are no other manual dials or switches on either of the lens bodies, and neither of these options come with any weather sealing. On the subject of manual focus, both of these lenses are buttery smooth to focus with, though the Tokina lens does have noticeably more resistance than the Viltrox. Now, that's not to say that the Tokina is unpleasant to use by any means, but it's certainly something to bear in mind if you do happen to use manual focus a lot. So as you can see on the surface, it appears that these lenses are incredibly similar. So does this actually mean that they're the same lens? Well, according to this article that I found online, the official word from Tokina is, and I quote,
"Tokina lenses does not have a relationship with Viltrox."
So this kind of puts to bed the idea that these two companies are somehow in cahoots. So what does it mean? Is all of this just a pure coincidence? Or is Tokina actually ripping off Viltrox designs in some kind of juicy scandal? You know what? Maybe this is just the start. Maybe this is the beginning of a conspiracy that goes deeper and involves a team of covert Japanese operatives infiltrating the Chinese lens market to pilfer top secret designs right from under the nose of Viltrox. Or maybe both Viltrox and Tokina just purchased the same lens design from a third-party lens manufacturer in China somewhere. That probably makes more sense now I think about it. But that's not really the end of the tale here, and despite Tokina and Viltrox seemingly working from the same blueprints, it does appear that they've both put their own little special seasonings on these lens recipes to produce fairly subtle but very important differences. More on this a bit later. Anyway, when it comes to price, in the US, the Viltrox is actually the cheaper option on Amazon, priced at $399 compared to $448 for the Tokina. However, here in good old Blighty, the Tokina is actually marginally cheaper, coming in at £329 compared to the £348 price tag of the Viltrox. But for the sake of this test, because the prices are just so close, it's kind of unfair to call an overall winner, so I'm just going to give both of these lenses a point in this round. As for build and handling, again, as you've already seen, the lenses are just too similar at this point to pick a winner, so both of them get a point and the competition remains neck and neck. Both of these lenses share the same AF motor. I know, big surprise. So when it comes to autofocus, in good lighting conditions, these lenses put in an identical performance, with quick and accurate AF and no signs of hunting. In low light conditions, it was kind of the same story. Although both lenses slowed slightly and took a little while longer to lock on, neither of them hunted wildly out of control at any point. When shooting wide open in high-speed continuous mode, both lenses again provided similar results, with the majority of the photos being tack sharp and in focus. So at the end of this round, it's another tie with points all round. When shooting a moving target in video mode, both lenses managed to keep locked onto Amber as she walked towards the camera at a regular pace. When repeating the test at a faster pace, it was the same result for both lenses. As for AF noise, they're both fairly quiet, though our camera's built-in microphone did pick up a slight purring sound from both of these lenses. Unfortunately, both lenses suffer from focus breathing, so neither of these options are ideal if you're a videographer and this kind of thing really bugs you. So at the end of this round of testing, it's yet another identical performance and points all round. In our bokeh balls test, both of these lenses offer pretty good results actually, with nice round orbs in the center that turn just slightly misshapen towards the edges of the frame. As for general bokeh quality, when shooting wide open at f1.8, both of these options provide lovely defocused areas with a nice smooth blur even when shooting against a textured background. So yet again, with the results being so close, both lenses deserve a point apiece. So with both lenses level pegging, it looks like it's going to all come down to image quality to decide an overall winner. But before I dive too deep into the test results, I first need to mention that both Tokina and Viltrox have applied their own lens coatings to their copies of this lens design. And as you can see by looking at these lens flare tests, the Tokina offers better protection against flaring and artifacting than the Viltrox. I should also mention at this point that both of these lenses do come included with lens hoods in the box to help shade the front element in harsh lighting conditions, which should help reduce the effects of flare. Anyway, on our longitudinal chromatic aberration test, both lenses suffer from the same amount of lime green fringing and red colouring above and below the area of sharp focus. Ultimately though, when shooting with these lenses out in the real world, they're both capable of producing stunning looking images. Both lenses do suffer from a touch of barrel distortion, but honestly, neither case was bad enough for me to really worry about correcting this in post-production. In terms of overall sharpness, when looking at these images from a distance, it is pretty tough to discern an overall winner, with both of them producing nice, sharp images when shooting wide open at f1.8. It's only when you really take a quick look at the lens chart that you can see that the Tokina is noticeably sharper than the Viltrox, with the Tokina's test chart also showing deeper blacks and better contrast as a result. Neither lens displayed any kind of nasty colour cast either, so all of the images you capture with these lenses are going to look nice and natural straight out of the camera. Both of these lenses also have quite a short minimum focusing distance too, so you're able to shoot quite close up with them. Taking a quick look at the lens charts that were shot at this minimum focusing distance, you can see that once again the Tokina offers a step up in both sharpness and contrast when compared to the Viltrox. So in this final round, I'm going to have to award the Tokina with the winning points, as clearly it offers the sharpest images with a greater amount of contrast, which I am assuming has something to do with Tokina's superior lens coatings. So what does this all mean if you already own the Viltrox? Is it now time to sell up and switch to Tokina? Well, no, probably not. I mean, sure, you do get a bit of a jump up in image quality with the Tokina, but in my honest opinion, that is not enough of a reason to jump ship just yet. However, if you're watching this video because maybe you're in the market for a budget 85mm and you've been toying with the idea of buying the Viltrox, then perhaps it's time to reconsider and maybe grab yourself a copy of this massively overlooked Tokina option instead. Whichever lens you do decide on, you can find all the relevant links in the description below. Viltrox have even kindly provided me with a discount code that you guys can use in their web store to receive 10% off your entire order. Also, if on the off chance you did happen to like this video and you want to see more lens reviews just like it, then don't forget to kick the like button straight in the dick for me. It really helps me out. And also subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single week.